We are lucky enough to have this man from Costco, Chuck Marshall, talk to us about his experience with digital media and mostly to answer questions that you have about anything in photography. Is what that means to say?
Almost anything.
Okay, almost anything. So I'm really happy to welcome him, and he's going to give you all a little background. And I'm sure he'll do a lot better job with that than I would.
Yeah.
So anyhow, welcome to Chuck Marshall.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I'm not a real big speaker. I work behind a counter most of the time and deal with people one-on-one more often than in a group. So bear with me. I get a little bit animated. I get a little bit faster. I'm used to working in a time frame of 1 hour, so that becomes an issue. Sometimes I go fast over something and I'll repeat it or I'll get back into it. So if I get off topic or if somebody asks a question, let me know if I didn't answer it correctly. So my name's Chuck Marshall. I've worked at Costco this is my 30th year there. I've been in the photo lab for 19 years. I'm one of the most senior in the company in that department. It's unusual for somebody to stay in a department that long. For one reason, I really do love the department. I've watched it grow from film, doing 4x6, 5x7 glossy paper to almost unlimited digital product. We're offering metal prints now, canvas prints, of course, photos up to 24x36. I've seen a lot of growth from when I first started in there to this point now. The decline in our department is there. It's evident now for digital. Digital is more phones, laptops, more pads. People don't print like they used to, so we have had to reinvent ourselves. We offer a lot more than just digital printing. We offer ink refill service now. We offer restoration service now. We offer the canvases, metal prints, of course, I've mentioned already. A lot of different things that we do. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a slideshow for everybody because I'm not one to put up what I do. I like to answer what you want to know about versus what I do. All the products that we offer online, and most of the products that we offer on site, everything is shipped directly to us that we offer, so you don't pay shipping costs. You do have to come to Costco and shop a little bit, you know, to be able to pick up your products. So there's a twofold to that. That's the bigger booklet. It doesn't have prices in it because our price, we most often lower our prices as they go. In the 19 years I've been there, when our prices finally went up, and our cost of goods that we actually pay for have gone up 5 or 6 times in that period of time. So that's what Costco's all about, is trying to keep the price as low as possible. So that's why the prices aren't in there, but you can go online and actually look at the price list through our website. The inkjet service, refill service, has been going on for about 6 years now. My hands are always covered with ink. I don't like to use gloves. I just use the bare hands, and it's been a very good success rate. I have one member, in fact, she refilled one of her black cartridges 27 times. It's over a $500 savings on that one cartridge, and that's pretty impressive. That doesn't happen very often. That's a record for our location. I think it's a record for their company. You know, 4 or 5 times is a pretty good savings. I do have people that don't like it or don't want to work with it. You guys are pretty familiar with computer use. Sometimes the computer just says, no, I don't want to use this because it's a refilled cartridge or it's not a regular cartridge. There's ways around that. But about an 85% success rate on the cartridges. Bringing your memories to life, that's a video service, old 8mm film, videotape, slides, put it into a DVD purpose of be able to bring the old memories back. And a story I always tell people, especially during the holidays, I had a member that had a pretty expensive video or 8mm to DVD come in and complain that it was pretty expensive, and really gave me an earful. And then that was just before Christmas. He said, well, I'm still going to take it. It was a Christmas gift. Well, he came the day after Christmas and came back and talked to me about it. He says, it was the best money he'd ever invested in anything. And it always gives me a little bit of a tear because he says they were up until 2 o'clock in the morning watching it and crying their eyes out. So I've never taken anything personal, but I do like to pass those stories on. Pro Photo Repair has been around for a few years now, and what that does is if you're not familiar with a Photoshop program, or if you don't want to spend all the time doing it, you have old antique photos or something that you want to restore that's faded out completely. These guys are pretty phenomenal. For a $29 fee, they restore your image back to a viewable image that's worth putting it up on a wall or making it into a canvas or a metal print, whatever you'd like to do. It's a very, very nice service. People get a little costly, but you can't bring back the memories without having that image come back to life, and that's basically what it does. So, working in the photography business, I used to work with a lot of film, and people still bring in film. I don't do that anymore. They took the machine away from me finally and said, "No, Chuck, you can't process film any longer." I said, "Okay, fine." We are strictly a digital lab now instead of I should not call it a 1 hour photo lab, even though we do service in 1 hour. It should be a photo center because we do offer more than just photo prints. So 19 years of doing that service. I do have a lot of experience in the photography business. I am not a very good photographer myself. I don't have a good photo eye, but I do know how to print prints, and I do know how to make prints come alive, and I do know how to explain to people what's going on with their print. I try to let them print their print and then come back to me and blame me for something that's wrong with their print. I'll fix it for them, even though I'll try to educate as I go along without making them feel like they did something wrong, which they don't do wrong. I'm always the wrong one. The biggest issues with photography and digital is the ratio issue. Ratio in most digital point-and-shoot cameras are a 4:3 camera, and the ratio of 4:3 does not configure to a 4:6 print. 3:2 does, and so people get a little too close with their images, and they get their heads cut off when we print them. And they say, "Well, why'd you cut my head off?" And I says, "Well, our machine must be out of line or something. Let me fix it for you." And after I print it and show it, there's two different ways. One, I can print the print back onto a piece of paper and give it the 4:3 ratio, but they end up with two white borders. They ask me, "Well, why do you have two white borders?" And I state, because your image isn't actually a 4:6, it's a 4:5.33, and all of a sudden the knowledge is going over their head, like, "What are you talking about?" So I just have to kind of keep on going and tell people, well, this is what we do, this is how we get it done. Everybody that works in my department knows and understands what's going on, and when people come into me and talk to me about it, it's like, we'll get you fixed up, we'll work with you, we'll get it taken care of. It's not going to cost you anything extra, but we're going to get you trained on how to actually get what you want versus what I'm printing for you. So it's been ongoing, and the film industry was easier because film is ratioed 3:2, so we didn't have that big of an issue. Digital computers, they want to print 4:3 because it's more of a monitor shape, not a rectangle shape. It's more of a square shape, and we get pictures now, which is a lot of fun. Instagram and so forth are squares, and now we get those people sending square images in and don't understand why everything's getting cut off, because it goes out to 6 inches and it's half the image. I have to again explain, we have a 5:5 print, we have a 8:8 print. Your square image does not fit in a rectangle. So
how do we overcome something like that?
Well, that's a trick, because we don't offer it online stating this information. And not all my labs, I've called labs that have done this. It's up to the manager of the position, in that position, to be able to override that kind of stuff. Everybody in my department understands it. All we do is say, if you're sending it online and you have an odd size shot, and you want the whole image on there, you have to give me a call and let me know that. If you don't give me a call, I print it as is because I don't know the difference. And you get there and look at it and say, "Oh, it's all cut off." I says, "Let me fix that for you," and I reprint it. That's the easy way to do it, but you still have to wait for it. The easier way is to give me a call and say, hey, I want my whole picture on that piece of paper. We know exactly what that is. We call it an overall or no crop. And then you get the whole image, but you get with white borders on the side. A lady probably 2 years ago, she had a little girl, it was her actually, I shouldn't say a little girl, it was her in an Easter dress, but it was a black and white image. So she had to tell me the color of the dress because she wanted colorized. And so we colorized it and brought it back to life, but in color, and it was a black and white image. The coolest thing was she was standing in front of one of the ships. It was in Hawaii, and the flag, the red, white, and blue flag was back there. The ship was gray, but her yellow dress was standing out, and it just looked absolutely beautiful. And she ended up getting a big canvas photo too, because it was bringing back so many memories for her. You have to have an image that you want to make sure that it's clean and crisp, because the metal will show flaws. Where canvas you can get away with images, the metal will just actually distinguish the image, but it'll pop it. It'll make it come out and make it come alive. On my counter I have an artist. She drew this Seahawk bird, and it's kind of a neat story. She ended up doing it as for cancer research, and she's 14 years old at the time. She raised over $20,000 on this canvas, or on this image. And her father's a firefighter on Paulsville. Well, I asked him, can I use the image on the metal, because I wanted to show it. Well, it's during the Seahawk season too. But it just comes alive when it's on that metal. Where the canvas is kind of a flat looking image. It looks good on canvas, but the metal makes it pop. So
What kind of metal?
it's aluminum. It's coated onto an aluminum frame, or aluminum backing, but the frame itself, or the picture itself, is an aluminum piece, and then it's laid on there. I'm not sure about the process on how they colorize it and put the coating on there. They're pretty durable. Mine flew off my counter when the wind blew through the door, busted my stand that I had it on. It flew and hit my machine, caught the corner and dented it on the edge. So I wouldn't recommend, having it somewhere where it'll fly like I did there, but it's pretty durable. The scratches weren't on it or anything like that, just a big ding in it. So. Well, it depends on the size. 11 by 14 is $33.99. Goes up to a 24 by 36 for $99.99. And it's a pretty cool product. I've had quite a few people that have been interested in it and have ordered quite a few of them so far. So. No, I wouldn't recommend it. If you have a big wall and you want to put a lot of images on there, you want to spend some money, yeah, it's not. But 1 or 2 images is nice. It's very nice. And you might end up, some people have canvases already, and they don't want to switch over because they've already started a wall with canvases. So, maybe I'll try that. They might have to replace all the canvases. I don't know. You can always come to the Costco and just tell them that you need to come and talk to me, and I'm over in the photo lab. We're right by the entrance door. I have no problem showing our products and what we have available. And if you want to become a member, great. That's even better. But
we're all members.
yeah, that's good. Anything that you want to use in getting your image to match our printer is through Photoshop. So all the different programs, I tell people, even Picasso has a photo program. You can go in there if you want to fix something or do a little bit of work. You don't want to get really involved in doing a lot of work. I use Elements a lot for just doing little trick stuff to make sure that I'm getting what I want. If I need to take somebody out of the picture, I'll take them out of it. Somebody photo bombs in the back of the picture. My daughter was in a pool down in Mexico swimming with the dolphins, and all these people and their stuff were laying around. I took it all out. So that's just, it depends on what you want to do, but print-wise, Photoshop is what we profile for. So.
You mentioned that photos, 62 you can put on DVD.
That's the price of $19.99. You can do more, up to 100.
Are slides the same cost?
Yes, same thing. 62 slides, 32 cents after that.
And how about 8mm? Do you go by the minute?
By the foot.
By the what?
By the foot. The first 150 feet is $19.99. Each additional foot's 13 cents.
Okay.
So it gets a little costly.
How much? Ours run like about 5 minutes. What is that?
It depends on the size of the reels, what it is. The small 3-inch reels, 50 feet. The next 5-inch reels, 200 feet. 7-inch reels, 400 feet. So it just depends on how many feet are on the reel. If the reel's not full, we still go by the reel size, but you get charged by the foot, whatever the film is on there. So
So small reel is about
50 foot. Takes 32 of those to fill a DVD, but it comes out to, I think, $190. But it's, like I said, I told that story a little earlier. The person took it home and came back and apologized for complaining about the price because so it was the best money he'd ever invested. And I do get people that are new to the digital world that gave up their film camera finally because we don't process film, and they come in and they bring their battery in, and I says, well, we don't have a slot for your battery, but bring the card right next to it. Bring your camera in if you don't know which one it is, and we'll help you there too. I mean, most people are pretty familiar with digital cameras now, but there are a few people that are still struggling with that part. It's just phenomenal the way the digital age came so fast. I was, one year, we were such a high volume film lab. I mean, we have 400 labs in Costco, which doesn't seem like a lot, but Costco's volume is pretty high. I was in the top 25 in the company in film. I'm not in the top 25 any longer in digital. We're way down there. One year we have an A block of film out front of my department. The next year we have one facing of film, and we weren't selling film after that. I went from 500 rolls of film to 250 rolls of film to 12 rolls of film to get that machine out of here. So digital took over, and it was a phenomenal jump. We went from, oh my gosh, a 1 gigabyte card. I told everybody in my department, don't take a 1 gigabyte card. Those are $750. Yeah. That's when we first started doing it. I was watching the price of a 2 gigabyte card was $1,500. I'm going, oh my gosh, if they bring a 2 gigabyte card in, do not let them even touch our machines, because I'm not going to pay for somebody's 2 gigabyte card. Of course, now we know what the price of all that stuff is. And, it's just crazy. I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, the cameras and the phones are so much better than they used to be. It was an acceptable print. Now it's a great print. Again, there's some limitations to them. What I print 4x6, you can get away with almost anything. You go bigger, that's where you start seeing the difference in.
It seems like you buy a camera and you get home.
It's obsolete.
Looking at the newspaper, they've got a Huawei because how we do everything.
Yeah. I bought a video camera, portable video camera in 1980. Top of the line, everything else. 30 days later, my machine was obsolete. I never have done that since then. I don't buy when it first comes out. I was training on my digital machine in 2002 down in California, and this gentleman was getting a 4 megapixel camera, and we were all like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. It was about this big. We thought that was just the best thing. Oh, that's going to be so neat. $750, I think, for that 4 megapixel camera is what he paid for. You know, now you can't find 4 megapixel cameras, of course. If you do, they're probably 25 cents. So. The iPhone is a great phone, a great camera phone. I know Samsung and iPhone, they like to battle each other, and they were showing the commercials on there, showing the pictures between the two, and they were showing, Samsung sells theirs, this is their photo, iPhone sells theirs, this is this photo. It's nothing to do, well, it does do with the camera. It's the person. It's the eye of the person, whoever's taking the picture, and if they know the lighting. You know, if you take a picture out this window, I take a picture of this group, you guys are all going to be really, really dark because the window behind you is light. You know, people just have to know how to take a shot. Taking a shot into the sun versus having the sun at your back, catching a shadow in front of you, shadows over somebody's face. I mean, that's just basically camera eye or photo eye. One of the biggest things is red eye. The red eye reduction is available for almost everything, digital-wise. But the closer the flash is to the lens, the more red eye you're going to get because it's a direct bounce back. Where you get a bigger camera, you can have a hot flash on it, shoot the flash up in the air. You get the image lighted up, but you don't get the bounce back in the eye. So that's the difference between digital and film. Film, they came in with a bag like this. Here's my trip, and now they come in with a card, and here's my trip, and you take, you know, 2,000 images versus 200 images because you don't want to carry, you know, 200 rolls of film around. You just have 100 or 25 rolls or whatever.
If you don't like them, you can throw them away.
You can delete. Some people don't like to delete. That's another big thing. They'll leave them on their card. I always advise load them to a disk or load them to something and reformat that card. Reformatting is the better of the two on digital cards too. If you just erase, the images are still there, and they basically take up information on your disk or your media card. If you reformat it, basically makes it a new card, and that's a big difference. Little data information. And people think, oh, I've gotten rid of all my images. And they're still there. They really are. I've had people erase their cards and say, I lost all my trip. Well, we have software, and other companies have software. You can actually extract those images back and save them again. They might not all make it back because there is some damage to the digital files, but most of the time you can recover most of it. So I'd advise people not to just come in, and a lot of times people, it's because they've had their images on their card and they're going on another trip. They go, I'm going to print them all. And there's images they don't want. You know, just put it to a disk, save it, and reformat the card. When you have more time, eventually, you know, a lot of people bring their disk in and do it. I'm doing Christmas pictures in July, and I'm doing 4th of July pictures at Christmas. So that's the best way, because people that leave them on their cards, then they forget, did I do anything with this? Did I do anything with this? And they end up copying it 3 or 4 times or 5 times or whatever, and then have the extra images. It doesn't really cost that much more to put in all those images on another disk and keep on doing another disk and another disk, but you don't need the same images over and over and over. We'll extract the images, as many as we can get off of it, and then it's the cost of a disk of $2.99. Unless it's more than 4 gigabytes of information, then it goes to another $2.99. The fun thing about recovery is, let's say you have these 100 images on there, and then you deleted them, and then you took 50, and oops, I deleted those by mistake. You want to get those back. Our software will recover those 100 that you had after the 50. The 50 will come off first, and then the other 50 that was from an older deleted files, those will come off too. Oh, I don't remember those. I wasn't part of my trip, but I remember those people. It's because it picks everything up off of that. So once it's been written over the top, we can't recover what's underneath. We can only recover what's on top, but it will recover everything off that media.
I'm always available at Costco at the counter. If I didn't answer a question or there's a concern or something that I didn't cover here, I'm a lot better in person. I can talk to you and kind of bring up the computer screen on our website, which that's what I was going to talk about, our Photo Center website. Be able to use that as freedom members. You can load as many images as you want on there. You can be traveling anywhere in the world and load your images, so you can delete your card so you don't have to worry about it when you're traveling. Once the images are loaded on there, then you can extract them anytime. Yeah. No other questions? Well, I appreciate your time, and I hope I at least covered something that's useful for somebody. Like I said, I'm not a real big speaker.